And hello YouTube, this is Thomas Judge, back once again with another YouTube segment. In this case, I'm doing a short series about the Valiant Comics Deluxe Edition range of hardcovers. Today's video is the second in that range and is focusing exclusively on reading orders for modern Valiant comics. Now some of you may remember my comprehensive Ultimate DC New 52 reading guide. This is nothing like that. Whilst I had originally planned to read all the comics and make an infographic to walk you through how to read them, like I did with the entire New 52, I almost immediately realised that there was no point doing that here because several great guides already exist. I'm not going to take any of the credit from these great guides here, but I am going to discuss them, highlight their various strengths and weaknesses, and provide links to them in the description below. One thing I will say beforehand though, and I discussed this in my New 52 Ultimate Guide several times, when it comes to reading orders, comic fans tend to fall along a spectrum. At one end, there's what I call Type P readers. These are fans who want to know the exact sequence of every single issue in one perfect chronological narrative. At the other end, you have what I call Type J fans, who are happy to read in rough blocks and families of related series, and don't mind stitching together the stories in their minds, if need be. Whilst I personally am much more of a Type J reader, these guides should cater for everyone. So with that in mind, the first and simplest place to start is here. This is a reading guide for all the deluxe editions that Valiant has released to date. It splits the comics released by Valiant into roughly 3 phases and is up to date until sort of mid 2018. Feel free to pause this video and make a note of that guide, but as I said, I didn't come up with that guide myself. This guide actually came from an excellent channel called Gem Mint Collectibles that did a segment in summer 2018 that had them reading and reviewing every single deluxe edition. This segment was 11 videos long, each video is about 10-15 minutes long, and it was just great. It was really enjoyable and highly recommended. I'm going to put a link to the first video on that playlist in the description below, and I would strongly recommend you check it out because I think it's great. Now, you might not be happy with that reading guide. You might not want to read in big chunks like that by deluxe edition. Well, that guide suits Type J readers like myself, but if you want a more granular and detailed breakdown, then I would recommend these. Now these, and what I'm going to be showing you now for the rest of the video, are reading orders provided on the Efficient Valiant Comics website. The publisher themselves have split their comics universe into several lines, and then recommend which particular trade collection you should read next to follow any particular part of the story. So what I'm going to do now is have a look through them. Now, this is going to take a few minutes, but after this, I'm then going to show you a third and final, even more detailed reading order. But I just wanted to go through this first in a bit of detail. So there's no particular order here. All I'm going to do is show you the reading guides they have on the Valiant website in alphabetical order. So what you're looking at here is the one for 4001 AD, which is a particular reading event, and it's got some information there about which volumes are optional. So some of the Rye volumes are optional, but then the actual 4001 AD paperback is there. These are all only going to be available as paperback because the deluxe editions are what we just looked at with Gem Mint. Next up, they've got a guide for Archer and Armstrong, again with the various trade paperbacks, but also showing you the spin-offs with Faith and Faith in the Future Force. Here's another Archer and Armstrong reading order showing you all those. As you can see, they just kind of follow the thread along. It also shows you some extra spin-off ones like the Delinquents and things like that. Here you've got a Bloodshot reading order. So the Bloodshot reading order includes potentially some Harbinger Wars, which contains a couple of Bloodshot issues, and some Archer and Armstrong as well as the Valiant and Armor Hunters, where Bloodshot features as well. But it's got them in sequence just there. Next is for Bloodshot Reborn. Do not get that mixed up with Bloodshot. So you have the Valiant, and then you have Bloodshot Reborn, and that goes all the way through to Bloodshot USA. Later on there will be stuff like Bloodshot Salvation, which we'll talk about in a bit. So next is Dr. Mirage and the reading order there. So there you have Death Defying Dr. Mirage, only a couple of trades, but they've still made a reading order of it. Moving on, you've got Divinity. So that shows Divinity 1, the cover for Divinity 2, and the cover for Divinity 3. like I say, this only goes up to the end of Divinity, but it does actually show you a few spin-offs like Imperium and so on that might fit in and where they might go. Next, here is Faith. You've got Faith, you've got more Faith, you've got potentially looking at Harbinger Renegade, and where that fits in as well. Generation 0, really straightforward. Harbinger Wars, and then you have Generation 0, 1 and 2. Again, these are all trade paperbacks. Harbinger in trade paperbacks, you've got Harbingers 1, 2, 3, you've got the optional Harbinger Wars, you've got 4, 5 and 6, and then you've got the Armor Hunters variations, a bit of Unity, and then maybe moving into Imperium. Harbinger Renegade, couldn't get more straightforward, Volume 1, Volume 2, they're both trade paperbacks. Imperium Reading Order, which also shows you where Divinity and Options and Exo Manowar might fit in as well. Ivar Time Walker, often neglected, often forgotten, often overlooked. Here you have the 3 trade paperbacks, what they're called and what the covers look like. I don't know about you, but I find these things really useful. I'm really impressed that Valiant's done them. The Ninjak Reading Order, you've got Ninjak all the way up to Volume 6, showing you there what those covers look like. And then Quantum Woody, the Reading Order. Again, trade paperbacks and what they look like. It also shows you there Dead Drop, which we will talk about in the next video in this series. Rai, obviously very closely linked to 4001 AD. Here are the covers, and here are the 4001 AD spin-offs that it recommends and which ones are optional, which ones aren't. Valiant, which is literally just that singular book at the top there, but then it shows you that 3 things that may spin out of it that might be good platforms to jump onto after you've read the Valiant itself. Again, they don't have to make this, but it's really useful and it's great that they do. Unity Reading Order, where it ties in with stuff like Exo Manowars and Armor Hunter and even the Book of Death and so on. Interesting, if nothing else. And then the Eternal Warriors, so you got the trade paperbacks and what they look like. So hopefully that was interesting, guys. I find these reading orders great. I think they let you break down your reading into more manageable chunks, especially if you're not in a position where you either want to or you can get the deluxe hardcovers. They are quite hard to get and quite expensive, which is something I'll cover in a later video. These reading orders also allow you the flexibility to chop and change as your mood suits, so I think that's a great thing for the publisher to offer, and I've put a link to the main website for Valiant Comics in the description below. However, maybe you're still unhappy with this. Maybe you want a much more detailed, issue-by-issue, perfect reading order within the comic universe's internal continuity. In that case, congratulations, you are a Type P reader. And whilst I personally am not a Type P reader, I did find that this is an excellent guide for the Type P readers amongst you. Now, I just want to stress that I did not create this. This was something I found on a recent Reddit thread, and it's been created by a user called Kelvin Degrees. So you can see here at the top, I'll just zoom in, you've got their name there, Kelvin Degrees, last updated September 2018. Whoever this person is, they worked very hard on this indeed and did a really impressive job. I've put a link to the map in the description below, as the creator is currently hosting it on Imager. So I've put a link to the Imager collection there because I don't want to copy it. I've downloaded it and I could host it on my website, but I don't want to do that. I want Kelvin Degrees to know that people are going through to their Imager file and looking at it there, and I just want to direct more traffic to them because basically props for doing this, whoever you are. Now, like you can see, the map is a detailed issue-by-issue breakdown of the Valiant universe. What I'm actually going to show you now is a detailed scroll through the map, but please feel free to visit the Creator's Imager page and download it from there. So I'll just talk you through it. What you have here at the top is a 2012 Valiant Entertainment relaunch, and here are the 2012 comics. As I mentioned in the last video, which was about the introduction, this was a very carefully phased, step-by-step release. You've got Exo Manowar here in blue, Harbinger here in yellow, Bloodshot here in sort of brownish colour, and Archer and Armstrong in green, with Shadow Man just creeping in purple. You can see there's a little bit of a key here, so direct continuations, recommended reading, and then he's put boxes around crossover events. So that's 2012. Let's look at 2013. So Exo Manowar continues, you've got Harbinger. The Harbinger Wars box is here, showing the miniseries there, and then also the tie-ins with both Bloodshot and Harbinger. And then as we go down, it shows here a event called Unity, which has got Unity 1 to 4 and the Exo Manowar stuff. And again, these series are all continue. Eternal Warrior also starts, as does Quantum and Woody. Get to 2014. This is now when Valiant starts having slightly more extensive and wide events. So you've got a few spin-offs here. You've got some things being renamed. Mission Improbable, which I have no idea what that is. Armor Hunters, which is clearly quite a convoluted event, but this is a heroic attempt by the author to make sense of it. So that's great. And that takes us up until Harbinger Faith and Harbinger Omegas. And the start of Rye over here. Again, continue to scroll down. Keep in mind, this is issue by issue stuff. You've got the Valiant here, which is a singular hardcover and trade paperback. And then this series here is continuing. There's Unity, Exo Manowar continues. You've got Imperium starting. And you can see here Imperium starts thematically after Harbinger. Then you've got Ivar Time Walker, which starts from this Archer and Armstrong stuff. You've got Bloodshot Reborn, following on from Bloodshot, but also the Valiant. You've got Ninjak, Quantum Woody Must Die. Over here, you've got the Book of Death event, which is a really interesting one we'll talk about a lot more next time. And then Eternal Warrior itself turns into Eternal Warrior Days of Steel, and then eventually Wrath of the Eternal Warrior. Continuing on, that's the end of 2015. You've got Death-Defying Dr. Mirage turns up. You've got Divinity 1. You've got Divinity 2, and then way down here you've got Divinity 3, which we'll get to in a bit. Exo Manowar kind of ends with issue 50, and then Britannia starts, totally separate sort of series, but Britannia's there. You've got Generation Zero, which I personally feel is kind of linked to the Faith and Harbinger family. Looking here, you've got the big 4001 AD event, which is really where Rye should continue. So there you've got Rye up to issue 12. And then Rise issues 13, 14, 15, 16 are part of that. Again, if you're just interested in that as a event book, you can always just get the deluxe hardcover. If you're interested in a slightly less type J reader sort of way, you can use the reading orders I showed you from the Valiant website. But if you're really into your nitty-gritty detail, there's the reading order here. You've got Divinity 3. So large boxes mainly because they've just got large titles rather than because there's a lot of content in them. Harbinger Renegade here for you. So you can see, I mean, it gets detailed, it gets confusing. You've got the new Exo Manowar Volume 2. What I call Volume with a big V2 is here. If you're wondering what I mean by that, you need to really watch my DC New 52 videos. There you've got Britannia, you've got some more secret weapon stuff and Harbinger Wars 2 coming up. You've got Ninja K, the new Quantum and Woody. And then right at the end, because this takes us up to the end of 2018, you've got the end of Britannia, which is now available as a deluxe hardcover. You've got the end of Exo Manowar, again been solicited as a hardcover. Harbinger 2, which has been solicited as a hardcover. Bloodshot Salvation, the hardcover came out recently. Ninja K, the hardcover came out recently. Then you got Quantum and Woody and Shadowman. And here you can see a few brand new series just about starting. Livewire, Bloodshot Rising Spirit. And that's about it. I've tried to find the details for Kelvin Degrees so I can contact them and just be like, hey, this is amazing, I'm going to be name dropping you in this video. But I'm not on Reddit because I avoid a huge amount of internet websites and social media. So I have no way of getting in touch with them. If you are on Reddit, please feel free to get in touch with this person and let them know that I'm name dropping them here and that I'm promoting their Imager website and their map. Because I really think it would be great if they could continue on the map past 2018 into 2019 and so on. We're going to be coming back to this map a little bit in videos 4 and video 6, where we dive into things in a bit more detail. And I'm going to be using the map to highlight a few very specific things. But in each case, I am going to continue name dropping the author, and I'm going to continue pointing out I'm not taking credit for this. It's really great. It's really interesting. It's a really impressive, comprehensive map. And if you are a Type P reader, you can download it on Imager. It's really high resolution. You can print it out and use that for your read through. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, please like, comment and subscribe. Please let me know what you think of this Valiant Deluxe Edition overview and which one of these reading guides suits your particular type of reading style. As always, feel free to tweet me at iamthomasjudge, and as always, please support the channel by heading over to Amazon and picking up the first volume of my episodic prose novel about superheroes, No Gods or Kings, which is available for less than $1. In fact, if you have Kindle Unlimited, all 4 installments are already available for free, but I still really appreciate you downloading, reading and reviewing. It's It's a story set in a world much like our own, but where superpowers become reality, and it shows how the world has changed dramatically as a result. I'll stick a link to the Amazon page and to the website in the description below. Until next time, everyone, stay classy.